What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex, back with yet another video for you guys. Anybody that is new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, let's jump right into the topic of this video. The NFL regular season has officially begun, and just a few days before the Raiders officially kick off their 2025 regular season on the road in Foxborough against the New England Patriots, and definitely super excited about the season finally starting up. Very excited to see these new Raiders officially out there in action. A lot of new pieces, new players, new coaches, a whole new identity, a whole new regime going into the season, and hopefully the Raiders can get off to a good start in week one. Now, I definitely look at this matchup as a difficult one. I think it's definitely like a toss-up, a 50-50 pick'em type of game. It could really go either way. But before getting into the specifics of week one and our matchup against the Patriots, today I just wanted to focus on whether or not I think the Raiders have a legit possibility to upset the NFL, to shock everyone, and for this team to legitimately be a contender in the AFC West, be able to turn some heads. So currently, as it stands, when we look at the Vegas sports books, most sports books currently have the Raiders win total at 7.5 wins. So that is essentially telling us that they believe the Raiders will be improved compared to last season, but very likely not a playoff team, as in my estimation, especially in the AFC and in this tough division of the AFC West, I really feel like if you want to secure yourself into a playoff spot, 10 wins is really ideally what you want. Maybe 9 wins, like a 9-8 record could potentially get you in, just depending on how well you do in the division or in other AFC head-to-head matchups, potential tiebreakers, those sort of scenarios. But currently, as it stands, 7.5 wins, definitely a huge improvement from last season, as last year Vegas had it at 6.5 wins. But definitely very excited about this team. The Raiders are coming off of a really bad season in 2024 where the offense was one of the worst units in the league, and honestly one of the worst Raiders offenses I can remember in quite some time.
Bruh.
It was definitely a long season, to say the least, and that led the Raiders to shake up a whole lot of different things in the offseason. Got a brand new head coach in Pete Carroll, new general manager, and we got a lot of new pieces on the defense and on the offense. This is just a completely different team, and it's going to be exciting to see what the identity of this football team ends up being this season. And that's just kind of where I wanted to get into. I definitely think this Raiders team, if they truly want to make some noise, if they truly want to compete in the AFC West, compete for the division, and ultimately compete for a playoff spot, I really think we are going to have to lean heavily on the offense. In my opinion, I think the Raiders offense is going to have to be able to put up points. They're going to have to win some shootouts. And I think the defense is going to have to be an aggressive, opportunistic unit. I just feel like after analyzing the entire offseason, free agency, the draft, to me, at least on paper and at least so far what we've seen in the preseason, to me, this defense has gotten weaker. And I definitely think the offense is going to have to be the strength of this team. I just look at it, lost a lot of starters in the offseason, and I am a little bit worried about the depth at certain positions, particularly at the cornerback spot. Currently, the Raiders going into week one, we are going to have Eric Stokes and Caillou Blue Kelly as our starting outside cornerbacks. And the only thing that makes me nervous about this is Eric Stokes. I'm not really sold on him being a true cornerback one type of player. He's also had some injuries in the past with Green Bay, so if he goes down, a little worried about that too. Now, Blue Kelly, he's a player, I think he's in his 3rd or 4th year. He's never been a starter. Initially going into training camp too, he wasn't the starting cornerback. He kind of climbed up the depth chart, eventually won himself a starting job. So I'm not really sold on if they're going to be good outside starting cornerbacks. And even if they are, like I said, the depth definitely worries me, because if one of these guys go down, we are going to have to rely on either rookie Darion Porter or second-year player Decamion Richardson. Both of them are raw talents at this point. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the pick of Darion Porter, but I just don't think he's ready to start right now. We got to remember he's a former wide receiver converted into a cornerback, has a lot of great physical traits, good ball skills, but I think he is going to have to adjust a little bit. And just in general, I mean, the cornerback spot, especially for young rookies, is pretty normal for them to struggle early on in their career. It's just such a tough position to come into in your first year as a young player. So the cornerback position, I'm definitely worried about. Now, I think one thing that can help us out is the overall scheme. Pete Carroll led defense, very likely going to see a lot of cover three, which cover three is a little bit more of a simplified defense for our defensive backs. I don't really anticipate this defense running a lot of man-to-man coverage, especially early on. Maybe as we progress in the season, we get a little bit more comfortable and confident in our defensive backs. And if possibly our defensive line, we're confident in their ability to generate pressure on the quarterback. Maybe we could run a little bit more of that as the season progresses. But yeah, when I look at this defense, to me, this kind of smells like hopefully like a bend but don't break type of defense. I think we're going to give up yards, some plays, but I'm just hoping this defense can be one of those aggressive units, an opportunistic defense, a unit that can find ways to create turnovers. I mean, one good sign was, at least in the preseason, where we had starters out there in those first 2 games. In both of those games, we were able to get interceptions. So I really hope to see that translate into the regular season. And the last key factor I feel like for this defense is we got to be able to get after the quarterback. We got Max Crosby, but really we're just hoping to see on the opposite side, if we can get that 2023 late season Malcolm Koonce, the Malcolm Koonce that just terrorized Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs on that Christmas Day matchup. If we can get that version of Malcolm Koonce, then the Raiders could definitely be scary. We can get pressure after the quarterback, force him to get the ball out quickly. The Raiders defense could have success in that type of scenario, but going into the season, I am concerned about the defense. Now, the one unit that I am very optimistic about is the offensive side of the football. I think Chip Kelly is going to do a good job in the game plan, in his approach week to week, and overall just running plays that are going to help put our players in the best position to succeed, running plays based off the personnel we have. I'm excited to have a quarterback that has some veteran leadership under his belt, a strong arm, and also to a quarterback that can use his legs when he has to. Now, Geno Smith is not a scrambler by any means, like he's not like a run first type of quarterback, but he still is athletic. He can move outside of the pocket or scramble for occasional yards here and there, and I definitely like that. I really wasn't a fan of, Aiden O'Connell and his limited mobility in the pocket. Obviously, I'm excited to see our young first-round running back, Aston Genty, and that's going to be a huge factor for this Raiders offense. Like I said, I think we have to put up points, and I think to be able to do that, we have to be able to run the ball effectively. Chip Kelly's going to have to do a good job with the run scheme. The offensive line is going to have to open up the holes. I think if we can do that, Aston Genty can definitely have himself a really good season. I'm excited to see how they're going to utilize him. I'm expecting they're going to use him in the passing game as well, which in my opinion, you better if you drafted him that high. Obviously, we've got a great talent in Brock Bowers. Now, the wide receiver position is a little shaky right now for the Raiders, as we only have Jacoby Myers as a proven wide receiver. But I will say the other wide receiver that is going to start are rookie Dante Thornton Jr., which if you haven't done so already, I strongly advise you guys pick him up in your fantasy drafts. I think he's going to have a good role for the Raiders, could be a potential sleeper, but this guy brings an element to this offense that we haven't had in a long time. A true deep ball threat wide receiver, a 6'5", 4.3 40-yard dash wide receiver that can take the top off of the defense. And what I'd love to see is that him and Geno Smith had himself a little connection in the preseason. He was throwing it his way and he was making some plays. We got Trey Tucker in the slot. I think he can definitely thrive in that role. Wasn't really a big fan of him when he was on the outside, but in the slot, he might be able to do damage for us. So I think there's no doubt in the passing game, we can definitely be a lot more explosive with a deep stir wide receiver like Thornton Jr. Obviously, we've got some yards after the catch monsters and Brock Bowers, Aston Genty possibly as well, catching out the backfield, a reliable chain mover in Jacoby Myers, and also too, I'm forgetting about our backup tight end, Michael Mayer, who could be that sure-handed tight end across the middle, another guy to just kind of move the chains. But to me, the biggest X factor for this offense, how well will this offensive line do? Can we consistently open up the holes in the run game? If we can run the ball effectively, if we can be a balanced offense, build off of this with the play action pass, I think this Raiders offense can definitely make some noise going into this season. And ultimately, we better hope they can if we expect them to compete for the playoffs, potentially make a playoff berth. Currently, if I had to predict, I think Vegas is right on the money with this. I currently see the Raiders being either like a 7 to 8 win football team, which, don't get me wrong, that's going to be a huge improvement compared to last season. Now, the ceiling for this team, I definitely think it's like 10 wins. Like a best case scenario sort of situation for us. But I would not be shocked if we're an 8-win football team when it's all said and done. But Raider Nation, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give me a prediction on the season. What do you guys think our overall record will be? And just in general, what are you guys most excited about going into the regular season? Let me know in that comment section down below. But with that being said, Raider Nation, that is all for you guys in today's video. Anybody that is new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one.